Hello, Facebook Ads people. I'm Konstantinos, and this is the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Hi, guys. So another podcast, and it's been 1 week without a podcast because it was the Greek Orthodox Easter here, and I wasn't able to do it. Which means that we have piled up questions, and which means that this is going to be part 2 of answering all of your questions because we have several. Now, as always with the questions, I will try to do it as fast as possible, so that it's not going to be a very big video. I think we have less questions from the previous podcast, that it was all about questions, but some very interesting ones. Now, before we start with the questions, which is going to be the main topic of this podcast, I would like to tell a little bit about the situation in this year so far with Facebook ads. The situation is this. First of all, we have a very good January, an exceptionally good February, one medium March, and one very bad April, especially the 9th, which is the Easter for the Catholics and everybody else except from the Orthodox. It was super difficult. We had some very good days, which were 3 days. If you see it on your calendar, most probably it's the 11th, 12th, 13th. And then after that, some medium results. Even on my very strong pixel accounts that I have showed you several times in case studies, I can see that this week was very difficult. The first week, basically up to the 9th, it was very difficult. But I knew that this was coming because it's always like this. On April, we have the taxation, we have all of that. But sometimes we think that these are excuses, but I can tell you that discussing with people, sending me messages, my ad accounts, discussing with friends that they do the same job, this is a general situation with Facebook right now, not having so good results. Now, there can be several explanations about that. Some people might say that Facebook is changing something. I don't believe it is that. I don't believe that it's the end of Facebook or whatever that may be. But I do know that there are some problems in the economy. Just for this reason, just have only one graph just to indicate a little bit of what is happening. If we see over here the US personal saving near history bottom, and you see it's actually has also the credit card loans, and recently also Netflix has one series on how to be rich, and it explains how people they use their credit cards and stuff all the time, and that the savings that they do, it's not a lot and everything. So I'm watching this graph, and if you do Facebook ads and you spend a lot of money, you need to analyze how the economy is doing. Based on watching that, and based on comments like the one that I'm showing here, it says April started very strong but has slowed down in the third week. What's your experience? You can see that people have different experiences here and there. For me, the third week was actually better. The first week wasn't so good. And maybe you see a very strong April because these are results that are coming from March that they pushed a little bit this week. And this is what you see. And then you see that, in my opinion, April was in general bad. And you're just experiencing it in the third week because you had some results already pushing your results on the first period of April. There can be 1 million different explanations and theories and whatever. This is why we do this podcast, to discuss, and you can make your own personal mind about what the situation is. The thing that I would like to say also is that even if it is like this, it doesn't matter because eventually it's going to catch up. Also, there's always going to be businesses inside this situation that they're going to do better. The same way that there are businesses that they do better on weekends, and most of the businesses don't do very well on the weekends. So in general, it's all about patience, lowering the budgets a little bit in order to be able to stabilize it in a spend that it would make sense and you're going to be profitable. Because if you're spending 100K per month, it doesn't mean that in periods like this you should spend also 100K per month. Maybe you have to drop it to 60K, which is painful, I know, and it's not good. Maybe you have to drop it to 60K so that you can be profitable, and then push again when you see that the situation is good. Of course, we have also a balance within Facebook, which is always, a lot of people advertising, okay, CPM is going to rise. If people are not getting the results that they don't want, CPM is going to drop, and then people will start making money again. So it's also an economy which has balances based on how many they try to enter, how many they're not. Because even if you're spending $1 million on the ads and somebody is spending $10, all these people spending $10 here and there, they are also your competition because they are piling up an enormous amount of money also. So this is the situation. I think that we all have to be patient. In my case, in my strong accounts, the first week that it didn't go well, I was patient and it actually paid off. Because I'm going to manage to have April, which is a difficult month. Of course, I'm not going to scale, but I'm going to be able to spend the same amount of money as the previous month that I scaled in several accounts. And I'm maintaining the same spend. Of course, the pixels that are strong are helping me, and actions from the owners like, okay, guys, we have a bad month. What are we going to do? Cry about it or do something? What is the something? Maybe a special offer. Maybe do this, do that, do this. Things that are going to help you get more data so that Facebook can also help you with more data that it has to get more sales. So all of this is a circle of actions that you do and how you're managing it. In my case, in these accounts that I'm referring to that I have in my mind, which I was actually having very bad results in the first week, but I was telling to the owners, no, we're going to stick to that. And if the second week is very bad, then we're going to take it down, because when you're scaling an account from 20K to 130K, now this is 150K spent, you cannot just go back to 60K and then the next month on 120K. These things are not happening. You're just building it gradually. So for me, and one mistake that a lot of people would do is that for 1 week of bad results, they would panic and they would go down, and then they would need months to go there. Now, in a bad month, I'm managing to stay put, have the profitability that I need to have so that these people can keep paying me, have the budget so that I can have chances of scaling, because June and July are not considered bad months, and May also, it's mediocre. But for me, in general, April was always the worst month, maybe because people get taxed on this period. I don't know, but there's always a trend on April, and I can see it also on my income. There are less people, even the people that they come and they approach me now to work together with me, everybody says, okay, let's talk on May about it. So in general, this is the situation with April, but it's fine, because Facebook is all about that. And as a business owner, I'm not expecting to get the same revenue every month. The same thing is happening with the Facebook ads. We don't expect the same revenue. And there are always going to be challenges. It's the way that we think of them, how we approach them. And of course, I'm showing you, for example, this graph, not just to say that it's fine and pat you on the back and say it's fine, don't worry about it, it's going to get better. Just because we need to understand, we cannot just let things happen in our life and not try to explain them why they happened and this and that. But this is not an excuse, okay? Because I can tell you that there are businesses that they have also scaled in that period. Of course, I still have an explanation about that. The business that I'm referring to, it's having some lottery prizes, let's say. And when people don't have money, most of the times they turn up to gambling. So there are opportunities always in every economy, and there are products, for example, that they're not saturated at all. For example, I have a company which has a very unique product that nobody else has. They haven't been influenced at all. Of course, they haven't scaled, but they haven't been influenced. But there are companies with t-shirts and stuff that people maybe they have done lesser from what they have done on the previous month. So it's all about the business. So, and when you have the mentality that I'm not using this as an excuse, then you're giving your whole effort in all the businesses, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, at least you tried. But if you have excuses, for example, at the start of the month you see that and you say, okay, I'm not going to try, then it doesn't make any sense, and this is a mentality that I don't want you to have. It's like the stupid excuse that some people say that if something is not selling, the problem is your price. No, the problem is not the price. You can sell a lot of things. I can give one example. For example, this box over here, it's a Japanese box. It's one of my hobbies, okay? They are called karakuri boxes, and basically they have hidden compartments. They're like puzzles. This box over here costs, I think, I don't want to say a number to be, but I know, for example, that this one costs more than 2,000-3,000, okay? And it's a radio, okay? Basically, the way to open it, it's called bad radio, and the way to open it is to just smash it like this, just like when we were hitting back in the days the radios. This is marketing, guys. These people are creating something, okay, it's beautiful, but there are a lot of people that they can create that, but they're creating something unique. So this can be paid, and the amount of money that people can pay on this kind of stuff, it really depends on what they like and on the market. So I'm never blaming the price into products. It's how you are going to market it in order to make it look like that this price makes sense. Okay, there are sometimes that we see t-shirts, for example, like this one, that they sell for X amount of money, and then you see a t-shirt that also sells for $1. Everything based on marketing can be sold in a different price, so don't blame prices. But you can say that in this month maybe we have people that they have less money to spend. Maybe this is why we see less results. But we will see the next month what is going to happen. Still, the small accounts haven't recovered, but the big ones, they have recovered pretty well. I can tell you, with the stronger pixels. Now, enough for that. I think that I covered it extensively, but I think that there are a lot of people that they have problems with this month's results, and I wanted to give just a clear view of how I see it. Now, before we go to all of the questions, I have one more thing to tell you. Meta is trying now, they're pushing a lot the Advantage Plus thing, and they have one option inside the Advantage Plus which says website on the top. It says website, and another option that says website and shop. So basically, Meta wants to try to push again the shop idea, that people are buying within the shops and they don't go outside because they keep all the data instead of going to your site and converting. Of course, the shops are not behaving very well. We have videos in this channel that we saw the previous year what happened. I don't see any improvement in these years in terms of results. But what Meta is trying to do, they're trying to get as much data as they can within the Facebook platform, so that they can still optimizing the shops, so that they can start converting better and people can trust them more and use them. It's not a bad idea, but they're not working, so we don't use them. But they're giving a lot of funding opportunities, and I can tell you that I haven't seen any criteria. So if you have a Facebook rep, if you have someone, if you have a shop within Facebook and Instagram and stuff, and you have also Advantage Plus in your account, you can do Advantage Plus, but this time instead of sending people just to the website, send people to website and shop, and they're giving $10,000 for 1 month. Nothing like you have to do it with A/B testing, you have to do it with this and that. As long as you have this option there, they're going to give you credit. Of course, you need to send them a message or talk to them or talk with your Facebook rep about it. But they have given to everyone that I know this kind of credit, and it's 10K, guys. It's not a small amount of money. In most people, okay, most of the people that I work with, they spend the smallest one is, let's say, $1,000 per day. I have some smaller ones, but they're coming 2, 3 years, 4 years back, that when I was starting, I had smaller accounts. But in all of the accounts that they are spending more than 500, let's say, they gave to all of them a 10K credit just to use, and they don't force you to do anything. They just tell you to use your creatives, whatever you want, your best practices and everything. The only button that they ask is this, and you are getting this amount of money for 1 month. Pretty good deal. Okay, and I believe that this is also another reason why the results are bad on April, because everybody got credits. And all of these credits that everybody got, they are pushing the CPMs too high because it's free money. And when it's free money, everybody is spending them. So this is also another reason that I believe that maybe April was a little bit problematic. And this is why I'm telling you, for example, that you should not just look on the graphics and just say, okay, it's okay. There are more things. Think more and more and more why this has happened. Now, that's enough for the generic topics. Let's go to the questions. I have a question here from Nikolai and says, hello group, this is coming from my group, I guess. I have a question about Facebook targeting. Which is better for a budget of 15 per day? To target the entire country but with highly defined interest, or to target a specific state with the same audience, about 10 to 50 million? So there are two actually things to say on this question. First of all, if your pixel is new, which should be new because you're having only $15, what I would do is I would try to go on the entire country with some specific interest, because this is going to help you train your pixel a lot. After that, if you have some, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say that your product is for the Latino community, okay? Except from the fact that you can use the language Spanish and target people in the United States with the Spanish language, which is targeting the Latino community. Maybe you know that there are specific states or neighborhoods and stuff that there's only a Latino community and you want to target them. I'm not against that when you have done a very good extensive research and you have data to back it up, and then you say, okay, I'm going to do it like this. If you don't, then use all the states, the interest and stuff. Just don't do it based on speculations or based on what you believe. If you do a research, you pay some people to see where your competition is, where are they selling, what are they doing. For example, this is an idea that I had with a company that they were having mold removal. So I told them that, can you tell me where are your, so they were running ads for the whole country, but I told them, can you tell me, have you ever defined where your, all of your orders and the people who need you, they're coming from? They told me, yes, it's near lakes, near rivers and stuff. And I said, okay, so let's go to the map with pinpoint and target these areas that they have enough houses and they're also near to a lake and stuff. And boom, that was it. It worked immediately. So it really depends. If you have now an e-commerce store that sells t-shirts, there is no point for you to target different states. But if there is a specific reason for you and it makes sense, then yes, you can target. For example, you want to target people, you sell, for example, a gun holder, which you cannot sell in Facebook, but just for the sake of the example, bear with me. You're not going to try to advertise in all states if it's not legal in all states to hold a gun and whatever. You're going to advertise in the states that it makes sense and it's legal to hold a gun. Maybe some of you Americans are laughing with me right now because it's everywhere legal and stuff, but I don't know, okay? I live in Greece. We don't have weapons in our houses. I think we should, but we don't. Anyway, this is for another discussion, I guess. The whole thing is that whatever you're going to do, if you want to target states or specific areas and stuff, it has to make sense. And I gave you some examples, some stupid ones and something that I have done in the past in order to understand it. Now, if you're starting with a new pixel though, another thing that I must say is that either your audience has to be very small, like 5, 6, 7 million. Back in the days before iOS, it was 1 million. Even you could start with 200K for some audiences. And you can move your way up from that as soon as you start seeing some results. So you can do broad targeting if you want in areas, if it makes sense, but not doing broad targeting, for example, in New York and you target 30 million people. Okay, it's not okay. So if you want to do broad targeting specific areas, it has to make sense also with the size. If you cannot do that, you go to the whole states, you target with specific interests that will help you have a small potential reach, especially at the start to train your pixel. And then you can break down the results, see which states are working and define it more. make it, for example, then target only 3-4 states and use bigger interests in order to try to focus on those. These are things that you can do, but always with a logical way of thinking and based on the principles that we have set in the videos that we have in this channel for the audience research and how to group the audiences and everything. I hope that this explains it. It's actually a very good question, Nikolai. His first question on the group is how can I have sales with this site? And I told him basically I will have to you know, you have to see all of my videos, all of this and stuff, and this is going to help you. Because, and he wasn't offended, because sometimes I might be a little bit, I'm a little bit of troll to that, but he wasn't offended, he didn't reply, of course, but he did another question, which was actually much better. Now, let's go to Mr. Nightwolf. Hey Konstantinos, would you use post IDs from previous campaigns to keep social proof, or would you relaunch them as brand new ads every time? That's the reason that we use post IDs, Nightwolf, because we're keeping the social proof. If we're using every time a new post ID, it doesn't make any sense. So the answer is yes, and you should do it, and you should not do new ones. That's the whole purpose of it, the credibility that you get from all the comments. Then we have Emil. I think this is a question with several topics. So it says, hello Konstantinos and others. Who are the others? Most probably it's on the group. After more than a week break, I'm back to Facebook ads again. It didn't take you long enough. 1 week is nothing. I haven't done any break from Facebook ads in the past 10 years, but it's okay. I follow the current trend of Facebook ads, and I have a question about CBO Dynamic Creative with a daily budget of 15 to 20. New account. So having a CBO with 15 to 20, it's not something that I like. I would go minimum 50 or 100. I think it's a little bit small. If you want to do 15 to 20, just do an ABO. And do an ABO and try to have several ads so that you can have a lot of creatives to have there. But if you do a CBO, I would do more. And you use dynamic creative also here. Yeah. Is CBO dynamic creative a bad idea nowadays? No, it's not. It's very effective and it's working very well. Of course, if you have Advantage Plus is also another thing that you should consider. My friend, while playing with CBO dynamic creative ads, had quite a lot of problems that had not appeared before, which had a very strong impact to the stability of the campaign. Completely different headlines and description than those that had been prepared and launched earlier. Preparation of advertising creations videos have been truncated. I don't know this word. Truncated. Okay, let's learn a new word. Just a second. Truncated. Truncated. What is this? Shortened. Okay. Thank you, Emil, for learning me a new word. Truncated. So they became shorter, or the initial display has been changed. Okay, I think I know the problem here. On dynamic creative ads and in general in the ad section, there are two buttons. One of them is a check and the other one is a toggle on off. The one which is a check on the ad area, on the top, I'm sure about it, it's on the top. The one says, do you allow us to do changes so that the ads can be more appealing? No, turn it off. The other one says, do you allow us to show this to other placements so that we can make it more appealing? No, turn it off. And these are problems that, you know, when you have them turned on as option, they are causing issues. Another thing which I have found is that when you're doing normal ads, not dynamic creative ads, and you're having your options for copy and everything, and you have your creatives on top and it says next to them edit, when you edit them, you can see that inside they also have the option for text and stuff. If you upload your creative and, no, let's say that you do an ad, you put there your copies, then you upload the creative, and then you go and you change some things on the copy, but when you edit inside the creative, you will be able to see that the texts are the original ones that you have. So you have to change them there also, or remove the creative, do the changes that you want in the copy, and upload again the creative so that it can take them also inside. If you play with it a little bit on the ad level, in a traditional, not in a dynamic creative ad, you will see what I mean. And this is also something that I have done as a mistake. I didn't know about it and I did changes on the copy, but when you were editing the ad and you could see inside, you could see that these changes were not applied. So, and basically on the ads it was showing the initial copies. So this is something to be careful of. And in general, close the other stupid settings that they make the video smaller, they take the headlines, they put it in another place, it's a mess. Now, we have another question. If optimization is at the ad levels, then keeping one ad set and duplicating the ad several times in a non-Advantage Plus campaign should also work. This is coming from the previous podcast, I believe, that I was trying to explain loudly why I believe that the Advantage Plus crazy method is actually working. And to be honest with you guys, I think that I have one answer, and this is going to explain it. First of all, I think that based on what I'm going to tell this with the answer, I think that it's going to work. And let me tell you why. So my initial way of thinking was this. We have an Advantage Plus, and we have only one ad set. The crazy method is duplicating ad sets, because we believe that the optimization is happening on the ad set level. And that means that you're having different hot pockets there, and the way that they optimize, you can keep and lose some of them in a CBO campaign. Now, because it's in my nature to like the crazy method, because, you know, it's like a good friend that you have for so many years that never disappoints you. This is the crazy method for me. When the Advantage Plus came, I was optimizing the way that I have explained several times with one leading ad over there. And then I said, okay, if I take this leading ad and I do crazy method, you know, run an Advantage Plus but having exactly the same ad several times, would that create different hot pockets? And then I did it and it started working, and then you took it. And then it started working with a lot of other people, and they were telling me about the crazy method of Advantage Plus. And I said, okay, but why? Why is it working if we have one ad set? Don't the ad sets have the optimization? The answer is no. And let me tell you why. I sit down with 3 friends of mine and we were discussing it. And we came down to one conclusion. I came to one conclusion. So you have the campaign level. Okay, you have the CBO there, okay, but we're talking about Advantage Plus here, so you don't. And then you have the ad set. If the ad set and the ad were so important for the optimization, why wouldn't the Advantage Plus be one thing? Okay, but still, the only one thing that they didn't consolidate as one thing, it's the ad. So I believe that the whole game is being played on the ad, and let me explain you also why. What do we add on the ad set level? The targeting, okay. We add also country, placements, budget in ABO, when it's going to start, and the attribution setting, how many days this data is going to be needed. And sometimes people say the pixel. No, we don't add the pixel there. The pixel is being added at the bottom of the ad. For all of you that you're going to be bored from this conversation, this is a super nerd Facebook ads conversation. You can skip to the next question if you don't like it. So, what are we adding though there? We are still adding direction in the pixel, and we say, I want you to actually go and bring me sales. So we're putting the event of purchase. But still, we're not putting the pixel there. We are saying that you're going to use this pixel, you're going to get conversions, you're going to use this country, you're going to use this attribution window. So where is the optimization happening? It is happening on the ad level. Why? We have the creative there, which is what people are going to see. It's still a direction, but on the bottom, we are choosing, I want you to use this pixel to track. What does this mean? That this ad is tracking with this pixel, so it's getting the data, and the data says Konstantinos was a sale, then I'm going to give another sale similar to Konstantinos to the ad level. So it's going on the ad level, which goes to the ad set level. That means that if we do crazy method with just one creative, we are still forming hot pockets because we have our general thing with the ad sets, but we are forming hot pockets also with there. And this is also another thing that I haven't explored a lot, because I believe that by having CBOs and dynamic creatives and everything, we are doing a completely different optimization. When you have advantage plus crazy method, you do a different optimization. Now, I think it's a time that I need to start exploring CBO, one ad set, and exactly the same ad inside in traditional ones, not in Advantage Plus. Now, why would we do that when we have the Advantage Plus which is doing it? In accounts that they don't have it. This is something that we can try to replicate also there. Of course, the Advantage Plus is stealing a lot of purchases from, retargeting, but this is fine. So this is my opinion. I think I changed my opinion after the Advantage Plus gradually, and I believe that the optimization, it's happening on the ad level. If some of you are laughing right now and you knew it already and stuff, good for you. But for me, optimizing accounts, I believed for several years that it was actually happening on the ad set level and not on the ad level. Now, if you're that clever and you know it already, good for you. But how did you use it? That's a big question. Now, and I'm not saying that the crazy method with several ad sets is not working, but it's working for another reason. It's not working for the different hot pockets that they're forming. It's working for the randomness of the results that we're having on the initial thing. And again, instead of having one ad set with several ads, this time we have several ad sets with several ads. So still it's working on that way, but it couldn't happen on the Advantage Plus. And this is the reason that it worked, the Advantage Plus with the ad, because we couldn't have more than one ad set. So I believe that I couldn't use crazy method. But no, because of this fact that we are having that, not a fact, it's my idea. I think that it can work even flawlessly also if you have CBO, one ad set, a lot of ads which are exactly the same for the crazy method. That's it. A little bit technical, sorry for that. Now, let's go. We have one comment in my video, should you optimize your Facebook ads in the morning or in the evening, which is a very known topic. Everybody's talking about that. And it says, great content, I have one question. Thank you for the great content. We have one campaign with 4 ads in broad ad set with 1 video and 3 images. The video is getting 95% of the spend and a lot of interaction with but CPA of $100, while the images ads are getting CPAs of $15-20. Our break-even CPA is $60. What would you do there? I have run the campaign for 4 days now. Grateful for any help here. Keep pushing great content and enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much, Johnny. Now, I have several remarks about that. First of all, in my videos, in several videos, I'm pointing this out. You should not test images with videos together, because look what is happening here. Even after the video getting $150 of CPA, it's actually getting all of the budget. Why? When your ads are starting, the only way when you're optimizing for purchases for Facebook to understand if one creative is good or bad is the interactions and the cost per post engagement, as we call it. Now, in a video, this is 1 second of play of the video. So if someone is watching 1 second of the video, he's interacting with the video, so Facebook thinks that people are interacting with it. And if you compare this with the images, that they just need for someone to share, like, comment or whatever, which is much more difficult as actions, instead of somebody watching in their feed as they drop down 1 second of photo play. So when you're having this, you're understanding that you should not group them together, because it's like you're putting me to run 100 meters in a competition with Usain Bolt. This is the difference. I'm never going to win him, never. Most probably I'm never going to win any one of you. So the thing here is this: group them differently, put the videos with videos and images with images in order for you to be able to be fair with your testing. Now, this is one thing, how we test and why videos are taking most of the budget. Secondly, say you have a break-even CPA is $60. You should not measure your break-even with the CPA. You should measure it with ROAS or cost per purchase if you have one product or you have the same price for all the products. Because your job is not to try to sell just this one glass of water over here, okay? Your job is to try to sell this glass, this, and this. As many things as you can into your site. This is what you're always trying to do with your e-commerce store. You try to increase your average order value so that it would make sense. Facebook ads are becoming more and more expensive, and your competition is not sitting like this, watching and expecting a good month or another month. They are working on their accounts, especially when they have people like Konstantinos telling them all that. And then they are working. They make their numbers better. They find better people to lower costs. They are finding better, not providers, how are the people? Distributors. They find better sourcing agents to source raw materials, to source products and stuff. Manufacturers, better manufacturers and everything. So the situation is that it's not only how you improve on your Facebook ads, but it's also how you improve on your business, because it's becoming more and more difficult. And what I want to say about this is that the way that you are thinking with CPA break-even of $60, it is not correct, okay? What I would do, though, because you're asking me, first of all, I would separate it, okay? I would run differently the video and different campaign the images which might work. I would start having clear targets about my ROAS and my cost per purchase, and I would start working on trying to improve my average order value in the site so that it can make sense if my numbers don't make sense now. And even if my numbers make sense, I will try to improve that because it's more profitability for me. At the end of the day, Facebook doesn't care if you go to the site and you buy something for $1 or for $1 million. It's still going to be, I gave him a sale for $50, okay? So this is my answer to you. I hope that you are going to see it, because I didn't tell you anything in my comment. By the way, in all of these I'm answering also, but it's better on the video because it's explaining it more. As you can understand, all the things that I said here, I cannot just type it. I just try to be to have a very good. Today, I'm having a very hard time of finding words. Do you see what 1 week of not doing podcast does to you? A very condensed answer, actually, so that it can make sense and they can take as much value as they can. Now, let's go to the next one. On the next one, I have something very interesting. There is a guy, I think he's a little bit talented, but he's very young. He has to work a lot with Facebook ads, but he's noticing some things that they really intrigue me. They really intrigue me because they do. So, and I will tell you also what happened with that. So you see here, when you can press right click and you can press the source code so that you can see. So if you go to your ads manager and you press the source code, you found inside the code this thing that says ad trust, and it was -1. In another one, it was 100 or 200, I don't remember. So he told me, maybe the other accounts, they have a hidden trust thing, and they are having better results, so we can see on the source code if they are having a good trust or not, and we can see if this other account worth it to try to scale or not. It was intriguing, for 1 hour that I researched it, and then it became a disappointment. Let me tell you why. So when I was searching it, by the way, Facebook was actually dropping me out of the platform, and I had to log in again. So I did it twice, and then I stopped doing it because I don't want to push Facebook on this kind of stuff. In my ad accounts, I wasn't able to find the ad trust. The only thing that I haven't tried is to find the source code while I am in the ad level. But there wasn't any trust and thing when I was in campaign and ad set level. I'm a big so I didn't do that on the ad level after 2 times that Facebook logged me out. And thank God I don't have any problems since then. Now, the thing, and what I believe is this, is that you can also see a lot of times that Facebook is talking about the quality of your ads. They have also a metric within the columns that they say the quality of the ad, if it's a good ad or not. And by researching it and doing research, this is how they refer to it. They refer to it as ad trust, and this is what you see on the code inside. It's not any hidden trust metric for your all account or for your campaigns and stuff. No, it's about the ad creative and how they are actually evaluating it based on engagements and stuff. And I don't think that this is a metric that it will help us or any cheat, but still it was interesting. To be honest with you, after finding why Advantage Plus Crazy Method works, it was one of the most interesting things. Of course, in Midjourney and ChatGPT, you know, a lot of things are happening over here. It was one of the most interesting things that I had so much fun for 1 hour researching it, because, you know, you always want to have a hope that I'm going to find a glitch, you know, something that would differentiate me or whatever. And this is what I always try to find. This is why you see me trying to explain so much inside my head, because I'm trying to understand it. And sometimes, you know, when it's data and you have it written there, maybe it would be some very good, and I think that I will create a video and people will like it, you know, and it was a very good thing to do for 1 hour. Let's go to the next question. So we have a question for Dwong. Is Advantage Plus, I use Advantage Plus. I think CPM is cheaper because it doesn't focus distribution on new feed. Yeah. If your ad account does not have many results for it to follow, the Advantage Plus is a mistake. So he used it, and it says that CPM is cheaper because it doesn't focus attribution on news feed. It does focus attribution on news feed, unless if you mean new clients. If you talk about the placement, it does. If you break down the results, you will see that it does do that. If your ad account does not have many results for it to follow, if the pixel is not good, that was a mistake. First of all, let's not use phrases like mistake or stuff, because there is no mistake. You're just talking about your account. I can tell you that there are new ad accounts that you're using Advantage Plus and it's working perfectly. If you don't have results to follow, it makes sense because your pixel is not trained, so Advantage Plus is doing broad targeting, so maybe it's better to start with interest, but this doesn't mean that you should not try it at the first place because it has lower CPMs. So for sure, I kind of believe with 20% of what you said, okay? But I think that I have explained it. Now, let's go to the next one. Again, it's coming from the video of optimizing ads in the morning or evening. Hi, thanks for the great content. We have a product range of 1,000 products. Some products are low value, USD 10, to high values, USD 100. Meta finds it's easier to optimize for lower value products in such a mix. How do you strategize to sell the higher value products as well? What I would do here is that I would break down to product sets my catalog, and I would try to do different campaigns for different product sets. Why? Because it's not okay to group them all together. If something is selling for 100, something for 10, it doesn't make any sense, because you're not going to have a clear target of ROAS. You're just going to be, and let me tell you also that in several ad sets, when they optimize for higher value items, then they keep also that. But if they optimize for a $10 one, then it's going to be an issue. So I would do different product sets with different price ranges. Let's say 10 to 25 25 to 50, 50 to 100. So 3 product sets so that you can have some similar average order value between the products, and something that it would be more sustainable in terms of understanding it and maintaining it and see if you're profitable or not. Let's go to the next question. Can you please help me with some suggestions for the conversion campaigns? And it has several questions, so let's take them one by one. We currently have 2 ad sets for men and 2 for women, one with normal products and one with gift products. Do you think it's a good idea to combine the 2 men into one ad set and the 2 women into one ad set? This was the ads from the ad sets with less spend will not stay in the learning phase. So he's afraid that he's putting too many. So it really depends on the budget that you're actually having into your CBO campaign, if it is a CBO campaign. And another thing that I would say is that I'm not against segmentation for different ideas, because here you're having different ideas. Even if you combine them into one of them, for example, let's say that from the 2 men, the one of them was working better. Even if you combine them, still it's going to work because of that. So I don't see any reason of combining them or trying to have them like this. But I see one reason of combining in one ad set men and women, if it's possible, because it's going to help you have better chance of converting. So if you have 2 ad sets that they are converting with different audiences, and you can have same creatives for men and women and text, and you can combine them in one, this is more sustainable, because maybe some women are going to buy some men and you're not just having it. It's not so fragile like this, okay? Now, if we should keep only Facebook feed and Insta feed placements and remove the rest. So big debate. Most of you know my opinion about automatic placements and that I don't like them. The whole idea though here is that sad story, guys, when I'm using automatic placement, it's getting better results. Even when you break down the results, you can see that feed, stories and reels are working, but still automatic placements are doing better instead of using them alone. So I'm also using automatic placements. Yes, I'm a trader, I have converted, but I think that you can try both at the end of the day and see what's working better. I would do automatic placements in your case, even if Facebook is stealing us some money, even if, you know, yeah, just do it. Anyway, I'm super pissed with automatic placements because it's just, I just believe it's a fraud, but let me not go into anything else about it. You can see my videos about automatic placements. I explain everything there. Normally, do you recommend CBO per campaign or individual budget per ad set? 100% CBO, like 99.9% of the cases, because we cannot just say 100. It's always better. Then for the structure, but I want to say something at this point. There are no bad or good settings. There is the way that we use them. Maybe you can use ABO in another way that's going to be good, but when we say CBO is better than ABO, we refer to the majority of what we do. The way that I work with Crazy Method and stuff, I cannot work with the Crazy Method with ABO, for example, okay? But I believe that when you put them together and you compare them, the same way that Advantage Plus now is winning CBO, the same way CBO is winning the ABO. The difference here is this, that ABO and CBO you can use even with new pixels, and they have very big difference. CBO is better, and Advantage Plus you cannot use always in all accounts. So when we do the comparison between CBO and ABO, it's much better instead of doing the comparison of Advantage Plus and CBO, because it's not for everyone. But yeah, I believe that you should use CBO. For the structure, how many ad sets is better for a campaign to contain, and how many ads per ad set? I'm a big fan of dynamic creative ads, which is just 1 ad per ad set. Now, on how many, sadly, you have to see my video about CBO optimization, where I'm explaining with a small equation, which is also not something that applies everywhere. I think you should watch it in order to understand, but this is the most difficult thing, how many you should put and for how long you should keep them, when to optimize and how to optimize them. It's the most difficult thing right now on Facebook ads, because we have also advanced plans, which they also need a very special caring in the optimization of the advanced plans. But we have also CBO, which is, very difficult to optimize and to learn to optimize. And it's taking months or even years. And then we have, do you have any recommendation for the product feed? If you're talking about catalogs, no, nothing. Just use items in stock, I guess. Now, let's go to the next question. Again, from this video about optimizing on morning or evening. What if I'm targeting US with my ads, but my ads manager is set to Warsaw? Because that's where I live. Should I make changes at my midnight or at the 2 p.m., which is a morning in the USA? Now, there are two things to that. First of all, you should do changes at the time that they have there. Why we're doing changes at 6 a.m. in the morning or at 12 at the night? Because this is the time that the traffic is going to start for 6 a.m. and this is when we start our new ads. And at 12 it's because when the ads are resetting, but I like to do it at 6 because I like to give a period of time for some delayed sales to come also, so that I can take right decision. Now the situation is that if you're doing ads for United States and you set your ad account, which you're not alone, a lot of people have done this kind of mistakes because they didn't know, to Warsaw. The problem is that the ads are resetting in a wrong hour, so you are losing maybe your prime hour. For example, they might reset earlier, before the prime hours, so you have a fresh budget, or they might reset later in other cases, and you might have a reset of the budget inside your prime hours. So it's not okay. But at the end of the day, yeah, there are a lot of ad accounts that are doing it. So I believe I also have optimized accounts like this. It doesn't make a very big difference after 5, 6, 7 days, but it makes some difference at the start. And of course, the stronger the pixel is and everything, nothing makes such big differences. These are things and details that we're discussing, that they are helping us with smaller accounts, that they have not so trained pixels. Now, you should optimize, of course, at 2 o'clock, which is 6 a.m. United States time. It doesn't matter what time your ad account is set to, but I mentioned earlier what are the issues that we have from that. Then we have another video that is how to recover your Facebook ads deleted campaigns. I'm seeing a lot of people commenting actually on this video. I don't know if something happened with Facebook and they deleted stuff, how it became, or maybe it became famous now, I don't know. And it says, what about drafts? I had a set of 12 that I deleted, nearly done, and it was a ton of work. Any chance of saving them? The answer is very simple to that. They are called drafts for a reason. They are called drafts because they are drafts and they are not saved anywhere. So don't expect to save them. It's not going to happen. Sorry. My video about that is that I have a campaign. I delete it, which was published. I delete it, and then I just want it back. So I have a video which I'm explaining how to do it, because apparently it's not so easy. And when you do it like that, it's working. If you have drafts that you deleted, it's basically like you had nothing. Okay, so drafts are drafts. This is why they're called drafts. This is why you see them on green, because if you don't publish the changes, they're nowhere. Okay, now on my video about relaunching and re-optimizing the Facebook campaigns, we have Nick here. If you're managing an ad account that has $100 budget per day, it's actually funny, long story short, when I was watching this, he was saying spending $100,000. This is what I thought, but he was saying 100 because it's 100.00. So I prepared a message and I said, my friend, I cannot actually reply to that with my personal experience. The biggest account that I ever had It's on 1.5 million per month that I managed. So I haven't managed an account with 3 million per month, and but I'm guessing that it is the same thing as managing 1.5 million. The same would be on 3 million and stuff. And then by reading it the stuff, I realized that he was saying $100, and I said, "What the if I was going to post this, he would think that I'm an idiot." But anyway, here it says $100 per day budget. It is a bad strategy to distribute that budget across 2-3 campaigns during the testing phase with many creatives, or is it a stronger strategy to use this budget around 100 in less campaigns like you have in this video? Most probably what you see in this video is that I have some campaigns which are optimized, and you see several. If I had just 100 per day to spend, I would do it in one campaign. If I had Advantage Plus, I would throw all the creatives there in the 100 and I would do it there. If I had just CBO campaigns to do, I would just do one CBO with dynamic creative ads and $100. So I don't think that it's wise on $100 to split it. I split it on bigger accounts because I'm scaling, okay? So if you have $300, it's okay to have 100, 100, 100 on 3 campaigns. It's also good to have 300 on one campaign, but if you have 300 on one campaign, then you want to scale to, that means that you want to scale to 1K, because you will have, you would love to build one campaign with 300, another with 300, another with 300. So I believe that the answer is there on how much you want to scale based also on the results that you are getting. But on 100, for me, the answer is very simple. I wouldn't go and do several campaigns with it. Not even 2. My Facebook ads philosophy in 2023 is a video that I had, and we have Kilani here that says, I'd like to see the 1.3 ROAS big spender account. Most probably I'm mentioning that I have some accounts over there that they are on 1.3 or 1.2, even on 1 ROAS, and they are spending a lot of money, but they are not appealing. This is why I'm not showing them. If you stick to my videos, and I know that you are watching my videos because I know that you are commenting, you will see that I started doing this now. I'm showing a good account, and maybe at the end I'm showing one big account which is 1.3, because I also want to have this content on my channel. But you have to understand this. Look at it from my perspective. So if someone is being introduced in one of my videos and he doesn't know me, and he just sees one video that I'm playing with $500,000 and 1.2 ROAS, then we are missing the whole point. It's like you go to a singer, and at this night, he's actually not singing very well. You will always have the idea that this singer sucks, okay? So this is what I don't want to happen. If you stick to the videos though, you will see that after showing some good videos, I'm showing also that, so that there is no doubt to whom they are following or to whom their videos they are watching, and if I worth their subscribe and maybe working with me later in the future. But the whole point is that in an ideal world, I would show only these accounts. But sadly, I cannot. I have to show also the others, not because I'm afraid about their opinion, just because life is not fair. And it's not fair for me, it's not fair for them to just criticize me in one video that I will have a big account. Or maybe I haven't reached yet that point with subscribers that I wouldn't care about it, and I still want the growth. I still believe that we have so much to do with the YouTube channel yet. Now, but you will see in most of the videos, after some point, I'm showing also big accounts in order to show a little bit of bigger strategies. I think I showed recently, I don't remember because I'm doing so many videos. I showed recently one other account that I spent $500,000 and I'm doing more than 40-50 campaigns inside there in a daily level in order to maintain that. Monthly, I mean. And monthly I'm doing more than 100. But on that day that I was showing the videos, it was only 40. Anyway, just stick to the videos and you will see them eventually. but you will see them, most probably you will see them at the end of the videos. Hi Rick, my name is not Rick, my name is Konstantinos, but I told you that and thank you for correcting it in the comment, Ahmad. I wanted to ask a question. Let's say a client asks me to run his campaign and he has a new pixel. He asks to first run video views. I know where this is going. It also has link to the website and the CTA button, call to action button as allowed by Facebook for some reason, and then a sales campaign. Will this negatively impact the pixel if pixel tracking is on for video views campaign also? So this is coming from the idea that you can run video view ads, and then because you will have a lot of video views, you will take 95% of the people, they have watched 100% of it, and you will retarget them for sales because they're actually having better chance of converting because they have seen the whole video. Bullshit. This is a very old strategy, it doesn't work anymore. To be honest with you, nobody should use it. Whoever is proposing that, he's not updated, or he has seen a video which is 6 years old. Or maybe a content creator who doesn't have any who doesn't have any idea of what he's talking about, and he's just making videos by watching other videos. Now, the main question here is if, and I'm not going to analyze it more, why it's not and stuff, but the main idea here is that, the main question here is that if a pixel is going to have any issues, your pixel is not going to have any issues with that. Why? Because if you will start optimizing for purchases and stuff, when it's not going to ruin it in a way, okay? Because it would ruin it if you go and fuel it with with many fake sales, for example, from fake accounts and stuff. It wouldn't ruin it if it has a lot of views and doesn't have purchases, because when you optimize for purchases, then the pixel is going to be trained in a way that it's going to understand purchases and who is buying. It's not going to say, okay, I have this video views and I have these purchases, so I'm going to use both. No, it's going to use only the data for the purchases. So you're not going to have an issue with that. The only way to have an issue with a pixel and train it in a bad way is to have sales for refrigerator units, and then you try to sell cigars, for example, okay? Which is not allowed in Facebook. I don't know why today I have all the examples that they are not allowed in Facebook. Let's say that you try to sell, the next word that came to my mind is swords, which is also not allowed in Facebook. Let's say that you try to sell cars, okay? So the audience that it has learned, for example, or maybe another stupid but very good example, let's say that you have a pixel that has a lot of sales for people that they have a dog, with dog products, and then you try to sell them items for a fish tank. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense, and this is where you're going to have a problem with your pixel. But when you have different events or checkouts, it's going to be an issue. But let's say for video views and purchases, which has so much difference in the funnel inside, because you have video views, click, view content, add to cart, checkout, purchase. So it's too far away to have any influence or any problem to that. Now, let's go to the next one. Hi, your videos on creativity and DCT, but I didn't understand one thing. If, for example, from the DTC we put 10 images, 5 text and 5 headlines, if after 7 days I find the winning image, the text and the headline, can I create a new campaign with just that one ad set putting the best of all things? What do you think that is going to happen if you do that? Is it going to improve your results so much? It's using them already. What if I propose you to take those that they are working and run it with another 9 images, 5 text, and another 9 images, 4 text and 4 headlines. So you take the best ones and you put them and you try to improve like this. Why do you want to isolate them? Do you think that it's going to give you higher ROAS? But it's already using them. And it's giving you this kind of ROAS. So take whatever is working, eliminate the possibility that it worked by luck by adding more to this, like images and text, and try to also improve it if it's possible, and try to see if you can have another campaign with another set. Okay, it's simple as that. Now, thanks, Relaxing has saved me so much time worrying about new creatives. The reason that I'm putting this comment is because I believe that I still haven't convinced enough people about relaunching. Relaunching is when one campaign of yours is working and then it stopped working, and then you just go and you create a completely new campaign that has nothing to do with this one that it was working. It was there, it was working, just duplicate it, launch it the next day for 6 a.m. and most probably it's going to work again. The only problem here is that most probably it's going to work for a smaller period this time, and the more you use it for a smaller period, but this means that you will have enough time, you can buy time with revenue and with profits, most probably if it was profitable before, in order for you to prepare your new campaign with new products, new creatives, whatever that may be. Next one, this is the last question. We have, okay. So I'm just going to put it here, I'm not going to read all of it. But I just want to say thank you to Kiaras because he did a very good summary of, I think this is the podcast number 10. And I'm actually very happy because that means that you are understanding the things that I'm saying and, all of that, and that this makes sense. Also, I can see my podcast growing a lot with the downloads and stuff in all the apps and everything, which makes me really happy. And I would love to see more of your comments because I like to explain them, and I hope that you also like my answers and that you understand them. So let's go to the Freelancer Diaries. This time I have something different. How much time? 66? I managed to pass it again. So we have here, it says Shopify store renovation. And this is actually coming, I was watching on a job and this employer didn't have any good score. So I started watching the history of the comments from the freelancers and I found this. But this time I'm not going to attack the owner, I'm going to attack the freelancer. Attack, okay, like nothing like an attack. But he's on my favorite category. I think he's a developer, and I have a very big problem with developers because most of them are lazy. Not all of them, most of them are lazy, and they're not keeping their deadlines. And I have worked with many of them, and I don't like any one of them, and I cannot vouch for any one of them, which is a very big problem. Because there are always people asking me about developers and I cannot find any. Don't start sending me emails if you're a developer. It's not going to happen. It was not a good experience working with, we're going to hide this name. She needs multiple revisions requests for the work, and when the final work is done, she needs more revision requests. The client is very sensitive toward her online business and wants to make every customer a visitor. And if that doesn't happen, she'll blame you that her store isn't getting sales. And we go to the best part over here. First of all, I agree so far. You cannot expect for more visitors to be a customer or whatever. But here he says this: why blame a developer for such things? I'll not recommend working with her, thanks. So who are you going to blame if the shop is not converting, for example? The Facebook advertiser, that he is just using creatives and sending people to a landing page. This is the problem here of me, for example, blaming you as a developer and you as a developer blaming me. I think, why don't we put our grow up pants, everyone, and take our responsibility? My responsibility starts and finishes within the Facebook platform. If I'm not getting, and you might say that yes, but you talk from a perspective that you are safe because you can say, my creatives didn't work, they don't have very good clicks, okay? The landing page is not working because people are stopping there. Well, life is not simple and life is not fair. Let me tell you why. Because I'm analyzing data. If I'm analyzing the data and I'm not getting good clicks, click-through rates and stuff, and I still try with other interests, and I know from other interests that these interests have worked with other creatives, but with these creatives I'm not getting the cost per click or the CTR that I was getting with others, then my problem is not the targeting. The problem here is that the creatives didn't work. If I see that I'm sending very low cost in a conversion campaign, okay, not a traffic, because there are some idiots that they're going to send traffic campaign there and then they're going to just blame the developer. No. If you're sending conversion campaign, if you're doing a conversion campaign and you're sending traffic with normal numbers, click-through rates, clicks and everything, and CPMs, and then people go there and you see that everybody stops on the checkout, then there is a problem on the landing page. Why do you have a problem? Of course I have to blame you. And just these to all developers, just so that we can be clear. I understand. It's a cruel word. But there's one thing here. There is no such thing in your job as a developer that you can say this cannot happen. The only thing that you can say is I don't know how to do this. Because basically with developing you can do anything. It's either if you know it or not. And I can understand how stressful that can be. But most of you developers are assholes, and my opinion is not going to change about that. Maybe because of this, maybe because you're protecting yourselves from people that they know that everything is possible and you just don't know it. And maybe you have a lot of problems from crazy stuff that people are asking you. But we also do have crazy people asking us stuff. So that's all I had. I think I'm going to continue. I have some new I wanted to use a different freelancer diary for this podcast, but I'm going to use it in the next one. There are actually going to be two print screens that I have prepared. And don't forget that if you want anything like a question, you can send it in all of my videos, and I'm trying to gather the best ones or the ones that they bring me to discussing something with you. Be creative and be consistent, and I will see you on the next podcast, guys. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.